Did you know 1 in 6 children face some kind of mental health concern each year? And help is too often in short supply, especially in rural parts of Idaho. This Thursday, September 26th, Boise State Public Radio is holding a special event in Marsing to talk about rural mental health issues, and we'd like to invite you to come, especially if you or someone you know lives or works in Owyhee or Canyon counties. The event is free and open to the public, and dinner will be provided. So meet us at Marsing High School this Thursday, September 26th from 6 to 8 p.m. for an important panel conversation on building connections between teens, families, and their support networks. Find event details at boisestatepublicradio.org/events.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector, Idaho's daily news. Good morning, I'm Michael Scherer. It's Friday, September 20th, and here are today's headlines. Recreation has been booming in recent years, but outdoor industry representatives say that trade policies are a rising source of worry. The Mountain West News Bureau's Murphy Woodhouse reports on what they hope to see.
The Generalized System of Preferences, or GSP, is about as dry a government acronym as there is. When in place, it allows for duty-free imports of thousands of products from developing countries with the goal of promoting economic development. Companies have taken advantage of it to source parts and materials overseas. However, it expired in 2020 and has yet to be renewed by Congress. At a recent panel, representatives from the fishing, outdoor retail, boating, and other industry sectors shared their concerns. Here's Jennifer Nager of the Trek Bicycle Corporation.
It's no surprise that companies need predictability and stability when it comes to trade policy. For Trek specifically, GSP was instrumental in our efforts to expand our supply chain outside of China.
She says that in its absence, the company has been considering returning to China for sourcing. If Congress does renew GSP, attendees advocated for it to be done retroactively, meaning that importers would be reimbursed for duties paid during the policy's inactive period. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Murphy Woodhouse.
Crews are beginning repairs along Highway 21 that the roads suffered in the Wapiti Fire over the past month. As James Dawson reports, state officials unanimously approved the $2 million bill yesterday.
Idaho Transportation Department Engineering Manager Shauna King described extensive damage to 24 miles of Highway 21 between Lowman and Stanley. More than 1,000 burned trees, unstable slopes, and completely unusable guardrails.
The fire even burned the pavement. I mean, we had the pavement literally on fire. It cooked a lot of the asphalt out of the pavement, and in some places it's now just some black rock.
King says work to replace the 4 miles of burned guardrails begins Monday, and crews have already removed many of the hazardous trees in and around the highway. Travelers can expect delays, reduced speeds, and flaggers in the canyon as Highway 21 reopens Friday. King isn't confident all of the repairs will be made before snow halts work for the season. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
U.S. states are profiting off more than 2 million acres of land sprinkled throughout Native American reservations. That's according to a new investigation, which found that revenue from these lands largely goes towards state institutions, but tribes are often the ones paying. The Mountain West News Bureau's Hannah Mersbach has more.
The new report from news outlets High Country News and Grist shows a checkerboarded map inside reservations. Chris Stainbrook with the Indian Land Tenure Foundation says this makes it hard for these sovereign nations to care for their lands.
How do you manage on a landscape basis your lands when you can't have jurisdiction over those other pieces that are there?
He says tribes such as the Ute are often paying thousands of dollars a year to lease that land back, and that money pays for public education, hospitals, and jails. Some states are transferring land to tribes, but Stainbrook says only when it's not worth much. He says more awareness is needed. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Hannah Mersbach.
Members of several native tribes will travel to Washington, D.C. in an attempt to get lawmakers to revive a program aimed at helping them afford health care due to toxic poisoning. The Mountain West News Bureau's Yvette Fernandez has this preview.
The Radiation Exposure Compensation Act was a federal program established in the 1990s aimed at providing financial support to people who were exposed to nuclear fallout and uranium mining dating back to World War II. It is particularly impactful for the Navajo Nation, where uranium mining was critical in the making of the atomic bomb.
We look at this as a social justice issue.
Spokesperson Justin Hosteen says the latest version of the bill should be brought up for a vote.
They're repaid with sickness and death, and that's really just appalling. And this bill gives them a chance to survive.
Members of several tribes, including Navajo, Laguna Pueblo, and Zuni, have raised funds to travel by bus from New Mexico to Washington, D.C. They plan to begin with prayers and drumming outside the Capitol and are hoping lawmakers will meet with them. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Yvette Fernandez.
The Caldwell School District has announced that the Caldwell High School Homecoming Parade has been canceled. It was scheduled for later today, but unspecified threats of disruption have resulted in the decision to cancel the event. There is no evidence that the threats are credible, but the decision has been made out of, quote, an abundance of caution. The school district is working with the Caldwell Police Department to investigate the threat. School is in session today, but parents and guardians have been allowed to excuse their children from class. Caldwell High School's annual homecoming parade is expected to be celebrated at a later date. Ernesto Garza was sentenced to 27 months in federal prison for extorting H-2A agricultural workers. He has been ordered to pay over $600,000 in restitution to his many victims. According to court records, Garza worked as a supervisor and foreman of farm workers at FDC, an agricultural services company that operates farms throughout Idaho, including in Glens Ferry. He prepared and submitted payroll timesheets for the H-2A workers, but regularly falsified those timesheets by adding extra hours and then asked the vulnerable workers to return cash to him for the extra hours. Between 2014 and 2019, Garza also charged certain H-2A agricultural workers an unauthorized flat fee to work, with the fee ranging from approximately $750 to $2,500. Agricultural workers paid the fees to Garza each year because they feared that they would be fired or not allowed to return to work in future years if they did not pay. According to the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, the H-2A program allows U.S. employers to meet certain requirements to bring foreign nationals to the United States to fill temporary agricultural jobs that cannot otherwise be filled because there are not enough U.S. workers who are able, willing, qualified, and available to do the work. Approximately 2,300 Canyon County employers are searching for qualified candidates. There are currently 9,300 unique job postings in the area. To connect job seekers with these various career opportunities, the Idaho Department of Labor is hosting a hiring event Thursday, September 26th. The event is from 3 to 6 p.m. at the department's Caldwell office located at 4514 Thomas Jefferson Street. Many businesses are planning to attend, and available job openings include auto service technicians, concrete associates, bakery workers, correctional officers, fence installers, teacher assistants, receptionists, and more. The event is free to attend. Job applicants are encouraged to bring a resume and be prepared to speak directly with company recruiters and human resource personnel. The Canyon County Sheriff's Office is alerting residents to beware of recent phone scams in Canyon County recently. In the past several days, several people have received a phone call from a scammer who is claiming to work for the Canyon County Sheriff's Office and telling them that they need to pay a fine for missing jury duty or they will face arrest or have a warrant issued for their arrest. The scammers told the individuals over the phone that they would need to pay the fine, sometimes thousands of dollars, either in cryptocurrency or gift cards. It is important not to give out any financial information over the phone. If you didn't make the call, do not provide bank account, credit card, or social security numbers. A water main break in Meridian is currently impacting traffic on 10 Mile Road just north of Cherry Lane. Because of unforeseen complications, the repair is taking longer than anticipated. The affected water line has been shut off to facilitate repairs. The work is anticipated to impact local commutes, and further updates will be shared by the city of Meridian as they become available. Motorists are advised to use caution and allow extra time for their commute, using alternative routes and following traffic detours. Local residents and business access will be maintained. And that's today's episode of The Connector. I'm Michael Scherer, and we'll see you back here Monday.